Greetings, my name is James T. Griffin, and welcome back to the QuantumUnity of CARALOT channel. So this is podcast episode 3. If you are not familiar yet with the 30 portals of spiritual sovereignty, I highly encourage you to do so because that provides the foundation and framework for these podcasts. And remember, the 30 portals of spiritual sovereignty, they've been formulated and put together to help us form organized unity consciousness. Because it's only when we form organized unity consciousness, we can begin to build the new systems in the earth realm that are based upon love and unity consciousness. So in regards to podcast episode 3, we are going to be discussing the collective consciousness. So in one of the portals of spiritual sovereignty, it says, as sovereign spirits, we all share and are connected to a collective consciousness originating from the spirit realm. So remember, we are not humans. That's a costume. That is an experience. We are sovereign spirits from the spirit realm, and the spirit realm is our true home and origin, by the way. And we volunteer to come to the earth realm to fulfill a divine life purpose. And part of that divine life purpose is remembering not only that we are just sovereign spirits, but we are also connected to the collective consciousness. The collective consciousness is much like a spiritual internet. So one time I was working with a child, a boy, age 8, and his mother introduced him to me, and I worked with him for a few sessions to help him to regulate his energy and to work with his aura or his bioenergy field. So I'm very grateful that the mother was very open to energy, the aura, and the bioenergy field. So what happened was I had a whiteboard and I was showing this young man the idea of the collective consciousness. So what I did was I wrote down with the marker on the whiteboard 3 stick figures. So imagine a circle for the head, the line going down representing the torso going down to the lower body, and the arms and legs. So on top of that, I drew a cloud on top of all 3 of the stick figures. Now, I did leave a gap of about 3 inches between the head, the top of the head of each stick figure, and the cloud. Then I drew a line down from the cloud down to the top of the head of each of the stick figures. And I shared to him, we are all connected to this collective consciousness. It works a lot like a spiritual internet. And he said, I know. I'm really glad you drew it that way because I understand it more as well. So he knew intuitively that we all share this collective consciousness. So I was really grateful to hear that he already was generally aware of it, but the fact that I was able to draw it and I validated what he knew and believed, he was very grateful. And his mother was very grateful for the work that I did with him because I did let him know that he was not a boy, he was not a human, he was a sovereign spirit, and he was having a male human experience. And I said, your human body is a physical being, but it's also a costume. We are not costumes. We are the spirit within the costume. So we also very much appreciated that. So in regards to the collective consciousness, this is parallel to what Carl Jung referred to as the collective unconscious. He started to notice a long time ago when he was alive and incarnated to the earth realm that we had these synchronicities, and the synchronicities weren't just with us individually as sovereign spirits. We would attract other sovereign spirits that were interconnected with what we were thinking, what we were feeling. So he came to the conclusion that we were all connected to and part of a collective unconscious. So he chose the word unconscious because we were generally not aware of this. So in spiritual sovereignty, we are now aware of this, that we are connected to a collective consciousness originating from the spirit realm. So this collective consciousness, this is where all ideas come from. So the illusion is us as individuals, we come up with these ideas. However, we are actually connected to this collective consciousness, so this is where all ideas come from. And some major significant evidence that points in the direction that we are indeed connected to this collective consciousness is what's called the multiples effect, or simultaneous inventions. So the typewriter, the thermometer, calculus, mathematics, even the telephone, they were not created by one individual. They were created by multiples around the world who were not aware of each other's existence or each other's work, and it all happened around the same general time in history. How is this even possible? The only logical explanation is that we are indeed, all of us are connected to a collective consciousness, and all the ideas that we all receive come from this collective consciousness, much like what I've referred to as a spiritual internet. So I've worked with a lot of clients over the years to help them to reconnect with this to, number one, increase their creativity, and number two, to improve their memory. So I said this collective consciousness also works like cloud storage, like just we have cloud storage for the internet, where we can store files on our computer, the physical hard drive. We can also store them on a cloud hard drive that is not a physical hard drive in our computer. So I said this collective consciousness can also work much like cloud memory. So you can access this to improve your memory. So I also created a course on how to activate and create a holographic memory, how to improve your memory, and the idea of a holographic memory implying that it's not just the brain where our memory resides, our physical being, every cell of our physical being also has memory. So this is a big hard drive, our physical being. But on top of that, we also have the collective consciousness that we can use as a cloud to improve our memory. So we're not dependent just on our brain for our memory. So the bottom line is we are all connected as sovereign spirits to this collective consciousness. The question is the quality of this connection. So we are all connected to it. The question is, how would you like the quality of your connection to be with this collective consciousness? Do you like to have it weak or strong? So we have a choice. We can create a weak one or a strong one. Simply acknowledging our connection to this collective consciousness begins the process of strengthening. And as we also practice the art of meditation, yes, on the outside, our physical being, eyes are closed, we're in a relaxed level of awareness, but also what's happening is we are strengthening our connection to the collective consciousness during meditation, and many are not aware of this. So today's podcast was all about the friendly reminder of this collective consciousness, and I highly encourage you to strengthen your connection with it because, number one, your creativity will improve. To what degree? It's up to you. However, it will improve to some degree, and you can use it as a means to improve your memory. So again, if you want to learn more about this collective consciousness, you can learn more about it in my book, Spiritual Sovereignty, A Path to Unity Consciousness, where we explore the collective consciousness in greater detail. So thanks for tuning in. My name is James T. Griffin. Thanks you for tuning in to podcast episode 3 of the Quantum Unity of CARALOT. Create yourself a beautiful day. And as I like to say at the end of every video, always and forever,